If you've seen the Northern Lights, it's not an experience you're likely to forget. One thing that is a surprise is that photos you see of this phenomenon are always slightly enhanced, and in person it's more like a floating, ethereal rainbow that is mainly bluish green and quite fuzzy. Most of the photos and video that you see of the Northern Lights, it's long exposure, which can make it seem a bit stronger than in real life. In southern Australia, where I live, there is the Southern Lights, so you don't always have to travel to above the Arctic Circle, if that's what you're worried about. Either way, far northern Sweden and Norway is where I experienced this for the first time, and it was amazing. I've seen some watches try to build this sort of thing into a watch, with varying success, but I think this is the best implementation I've seen to this day, and it's from Singapore MMI watches. The lume here is almost not visible until the lights go out, which is exactly as per the real thing. Not only does it have to be at night, even moonlight tends to destroy the effect of the Northern Lights, so if you do want to travel up north, try to time your visits away from full moon every month. MMI is a brand that's made some pretty cool watches to date. Always well made and always a unique design that is not particularly derivative for once, but more a genuine attempt to find their own way with interesting date complications and always playing with lume. Victor from MMI seems to have learned from Sealos with finding just the right balance of different and desirable. MMI is coming up to their 4th year anniversary now and have a few successful launches under their belt. This means you don't have to worry about putting a deposit down if you like what you see today. So should you commit to an MMI watch of your own with a tribute to the Northern Lights, or even potentially a washi paper version with super thin Japanese paper behind a sapphire dial? Stay with me and I'll help you make your decision. This model is called a Nor-Light, which in English is unusual, but it's very close to Swedish and Norwegian, where the words are just north and lights. Perhaps this is where the inspiration came from. An important part of the decision-making process is sizing, so let's cover that first. It's 39.5mm diameter and 46mm lug to lug. The lugs are a standard 20mm width and the watch is 12mm thick. So overall, a perfect set of dimensions that should fit a wide variety of wrists. Let's get a bit closer to this dial, and there is a bit going on here. We are looking at 3 layers on this particular one. You have Japanese washi paper, which is incredibly thin. In this instance, it's white, but you can get orange and blue also. Holding the paper down is a sapphire crystal dial, which is held down by 2 screws at 3 and 9. On this sapphire crystal, we get the numbers, markers, logo, which by the way will be slightly larger on the final version, and automatic, printed in a combination of white on black or just black. So legibility is excellent. But of course, with this particular watch, we also get some stunning lume printed, which I'll return to. You can get these watches with or without the printed lume on the dial, which means you'll see the fine textured delicate paper underneath. You can just make that out through the dial even on this model, but if you want to check out a paper only, there are plenty of reviews out there on those. The print is all very good for a prototype, where only a few uneven bits here and there, which you'd expect. In daylight, there are hints of a pattern on top of the dial, but it's not too in your face in my opinion, but you'll make your own mind up based on my outside and inside shots here. The high polished hands do what high polished hands do, and that's appear black most of the time, so legibility is better than what you might think. That said, I'd probably go blue or black over the white from that point of view, where there'd be no such issues at all. The fixed bezel is high polish, as is the sides of the case, so obviously you'd need to be okay with scratches since they will be inevitable. The slightly stubby lugs are matte on top, so we'll be okay for much longer. The sign crown is currently a bit too small, but it's marked for increase by 1.5mm, which will fix that. It is push-pull, but water resistance on this watch is still 100 meters. The back of the watch is interesting. it's got more of the same pattern lume, which is curious. It's a fun detail for sure, but even on the lume crown, which we also get here, there is some method to the madness, while here it's fun only with zero practicality attached. It also covers the movement, which is a Miyota 9039, which is the dateless version, but that's okay. You can see enough of it if this is your first watch with a see-through caseback. The specs and numbered edition is printed around a crystal, and overall it's pretty nice and something only an owner would ever see. We need more fun in both the watch world and the regular world, so why not have some lume where the moon don't shine, I say. The bracelet is nice enough with 5 individual links. The outer ones are brushed and the 3 inner ones polished. And we get a middle clasp with a classic fold over and 5 micro adjusts. I had no problems getting a perfect fit. The end links do fit very well, but if I had to nitpick, just a tiny bit more rounded than the sharper lugs, but nothing that would bother a normal person. The best part of the bracelet is being quick release, so you can put this on anything you like, and you should. It's some of the best fun with a new watch, I think. This blue Artem canvas strap really does it for me with its white stitching, but classic brown leather should look pretty good too, I'd say. This lume does speak for itself, and it is fairly spectacular as you can see. I think it's lovely to see new things in the watch world, and microbrands is where it's at, as many of us know. We get high quality watches and great movements, and with really fun details such as Northern Light lume or washi Japanese paper on the sapphire dials, and even at a non-early bird pricing on Kickstarter, you could secure yours for about $350 US, which is amazing value for this watch. The campaign is over when you see this video, but you can also pre-order on the MMI website, which I'll link up, and it'll still be at great value. You just have to wait until 2024 before you get yours, but it'll be worth it. This is the first time I film one of Victor's watches, but it will not be the last. Here's another example of a fun and innovative approach to automatic wristwatches that are still incredibly affordable for normal people like you and me. That to me is the perfect reason why microbrands exist, and the more of us to support them, the better. So what do you think of the watch? Are you about to pre-order one, or have you ordered one already? Do let me know in the comments, and I'll see you next time.